This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everyone. I am Rashni Jain on behalf of agriculture.com to this online meeting. Please take a moment to review the guidelines for this online meeting posted in the chat window. I now request the moderator, Mr. Lakshmipati, to introduce the speaker and start the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rajini. Good evening, everyone. I am Lakshmi Pati. I will be moderating this meeting. Agricultureinformation.com likes to welcome to this meeting Dr. Priya P, the Assistant Professor of Agronomy, College of Agriculture and the University of Agriculture Sciences, Dharwad, Haveri District, Karnataka. Dr. Priya will be speaking on the topic Improved Agronomic Practices in Chickpea. I now request the speaker to begin.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. So today I want to discuss about the improved agronomic practices in chickpea. So the word agronomic practices means what we follow in the field starting from land preparation till harvest of the crop. So that practice, technically we call it as agronomic practices. Actually what the farmer is following in the field from land preparation, sowing and intercultivation, weeding, irrigation, finally harvesting, threshing and storage. So this entire practices, it is called as the agronomic practices. So we have a set of practices. Technically, if we follow that set of practices, definitely we will get the higher yield. And nowadays we have a vision that we have to double the farmers' income. So how it is possible means by interviewing some low cost technology. Everybody knows how to sow the crop, how to go for intercultivation, when to irrigate. So some little modifications. So there is a scientific intervention should be there. Low cost intervention should be there in each practices to get higher yield. So same way I am going to deal for chickpea crop because the season is ensuing the Rabi season. Most of the farmers will go for sowing of this chickpea. It is commonly called as the Bengal gram or gram. We simply call it as a gram or Bengal gram, and it is chickpea. So we call even chana. Chana also we used to call this crop. So since in the Rabi means the winter season. So in the winter season, we used to grow chickpea and some other crops like wheat, safflower, even sorghum also. And the chickpea, of course, it is very important crop in the Rabi season or the winter season. So I want to discuss some of the important agronomic practices to get a higher yield in this crop. So I already said this, it's also called as the gram or chana. Why we want, what is the economic importance of this crop? So that is more important here. Okay. So chickpea contains about 21% of the protein, 2.2% of fat and 62% of carbohydrate. And apart from that, it also contains calcium, iron and phosphorus and some minerals also. But when compared to other pulses, the total protein content in chickpea is less, but it has higher biological value and protein digestibility. That means whatever we take as our food through our diet, whatever the protein we take, all the protein will not be enter into our blood system, not be enter into our blood system. But in chickpea, even though the chickpea crop contains less amount of protein as compared to other pulses, but it has more biological value and it has more protein digestibility. Means body absorbs more protein from this seed. That's the meaning of this. And the another important economic importance of this crop is, so the plant contains some hairy-like structures. You could have observed when you walk around this chickpea field, the leaves and pods has got some small hair-like structures. Even people used to eat these seeds as a raw. Many cities also you can see the entire plant they uprooted and during pod development stage. So that pod is eaten as raw. Okay, you can observe, you could have observed the leaves and the pods contain small granular hair-like structures. So when you touch that plant and if you put it your finger on your mouth, you can feel some sour taste. Sour taste. So that is due to presence of malic acid and oxalic acid. So these two acids, they are mainly used for preparing some drugs, and it is also used to purify some intestinal disorders and also for blood purification. Okay, and even the soaked seeds and husks are also used to feed to our cattle. So this is the economic importance of this crop. Coming to the area production productivity. On the basis of the cultivated area, chickpea stands at 19th place among all the cultivated crops. 77% of this total area and production in the world is from India only. Okay, and other countries like Pakistan, Turkey, Mexico, Burma, Ethiopia also cultivating this crop. In India, the major area is from Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh ranks first in area and production, but productivity by Rajasthan. So the national productivity is around 810 kg per hectare. That is the average yield, national yield of this crop. So what type of soil is required by this crop means it prefers mostly black soil, that is medium to heavy black soils, and also black cotton soils. You can observe the people used to sow this crop especially during the Rabi season in the black soil because the water holding capacity of the black soil is high as compared to red soil and sandy soils. So that's why wherever there is a good rainfall, the receipt of good rainfall in the rainy season, that is during Kharif season. So even under rain-fed condition, you can grow this crop during Rabi without irrigation also. You can grow this crop very well. Often it requires winter cool temperature. So the temperature is cool, so definitely it will give good yield. And then irrigated also, you can get more yield, of course. If we give some 3 or 4 irrigations, minimum irrigations, so definitely we'll get a good yield. The optimum pH required for this crop is from 6 to 7.5. If it is more than 8.5 pH, it's not suitable for this crop. And it does not withstand waterlogging, saline and alkaline conditions. So if the soil is a problematic soil, then the crop doesn't come up well. So the climatic requirement, as I already told, it is a Rabi pulse crop. Rabi means it prefers winter season, and it requires cool, humid weather, and it is mainly suitable for North India. But even we are growing in South India also, but preferably if you grow in North India, the more meaning of that. And it is suited for moderate rainfall areas, that area receiving from 400 to 700 millimeter rainfall. But if it is there any waterlogging condition is there, the field, if you allow field for waterlogging condition, definitely there is a wilt disease. Wilt disease means sudden death of plant. You can observe whenever you go to any chickpea field, even in red gram also, even in red gram field also. The red gram is also a pulse crop. So whenever there is a good vegetative growth, whenever there is a good vegetative growth, there is sudden death of plant here and there. After 3 days, 5 days, there is a whole field looks like a burnt. So that is called the wilt disease. I will tell you how to avoid that disease by treating with some microbial consortium. So the optimum temperature regime for chickpea is 24 to 30 degrees centigrade. And it is a long day plant. Long day plant means the day length should be more. Day length, sunshine hours should be more. It is requires sufficient sunshine hours. Okay. The period of cool temperature decides the duration of the crop. That means if the same chickpea, if you grow in North India, it comes to harvest at 160 to 170 days. But same crop, if you grow in South India, it will come to harvest from 90 to 110 days. So that is the meaning of this. So the temperature decides the duration of the crop. So coming to types and varieties in chickpea. So you can observe in whenever you go to any provisions and all. Now you can see there are two types of chickpea crop, Kabuli and Desi type. Because we are consuming these two varieties every day, our diet, both Desi and Kabuli. So what are the difference between this Desi and Kabuli? First, I will show you the picture. Then the media. Yeah. So the first one is Desi chickpea. That is a smaller one, brown color. Okay. Seed individual seed weight is less, and the size is also small. If you come to Kabuli, it is big in size, a little bit cream in color. Okay. Seed weight is more. Individual seed weight is more. So this is Desi and Kabuli chickpea. So technically, the area under cultivation of Desi is more. Farmers are growing more of Desi type as compared to Kabuli. And I already said size of the seed is small in Desi and it is large, bold and attractive in Kabuli type. Shape of the seed. Shape of the seed you can see here, it is irregular and wrinkled. You can see in the photographs. It is irregular and wrinkled. But here in Kabuli it is a smooth. If you see the plant structure, the Desi type it is a small, bushy, but in Kabul it is taller and erect type. Coming to the percentage of production, so more production is from the Desi type compared to Kabuli. And yield potential, so the yield potential of Desi is high as compared to Kabuli. But individual seed weight is more in Kabuli type. So adaptation means how get it adapted to different climatic conditions. So mostly it is during winter Desi type of chickpea we can grow. Coming to Kabuli, it is in the spring season also we can grow, apart from growing in the winter. So test weight means 100 seed weight. 100 seed weight, it is definitely less in Desi, but it is more in Kabuli type. So some of the examples for Desi is A1. A1 is nothing but Anigare1 and JG11. In Kabuli type, it is Kranti and Shweta. So these two are the examples for the Desi and Kabuli type. And the color of the seed, it is yellow to dark brown in Desi and it is white or pale cream in Kabuli type. So some of the varieties released in Karnataka are COP. This is the photograph of the COP2. It is bold seeded Kabuli variety and the duration is 80 to 85 days. Yield is 10 to 12 quintals per hectare and the more market demand is there for COP2 from Karnataka. And the next one is Vishal. Vishal is Desi variety again, but it is bold seeded Desi. And the duration is 100 to 110 days. Yield is 12 to 15 liters per hectare. And next is JG11. So this is it covered more area, especially it is suitable for rain-fed conditions. So it is an improved Desi variety, but the duration is a little bit less. That's 95 days. And the important feature of this variety is it is wilt resistant. So that is the advantage of growing this JG11. Now we have improved version of this JG14 we have now, and the yield level is around 12 to 15 quintals per hectare. So other varieties grown across India are Radhya, Gwalior, Vikas, Chaba, and the wilt tolerant variety. So it can able to withstand wilt disease incidence. That is Vishal, Vijay, Avarodhi, JG11. And some of the popular varieties grown in Karnataka are Anigare1, GPS 964, JG11, BGD series, and Jaki 9218. And we have JG14 also. Nowadays, farmers are growing JG14. But yield level is not much higher as compared to JG11, but it is highly tolerant to wilt because wilt is very creating huge economic loss for the farmers. Because after if the field is affected by wilt, it's very difficult to control. That is the main problem with this growing of chickpea. That's why we have nowadays varieties which can able to withstand wilt tolerance also, wilt incidence. Coming to the seeds and sowing, so seed rate, that is how much seed is required per hectare. That is around Desi type requires 65 to 70 kg, Kabuli kg, and for spacing, means for Desi you can go for 30 by 10 centimeter, and for Kabuli it is, since it is widespread, a little bit branching, and the plant height is more, so you can give 45 by 10 centimeter. So we have to take up sowing from October to first fortnight of November, and the depth of sowing should be 6 to 8 centimeter, because the seed size is a little bit bigger, so you can increase or you can go little bit depth, that is 6 to 8. And if the delayed sowing, so it is the chickpea is to delay sowing, definitely it will be affected by some diseases. So it's better to take up sowing from middle of October to first fortnight of November. That is 15th October to 15th November. So that is the ideal period of sowing. If you go for early sowing, if it is early sowing, then it results in excessive vegetative growth. Okay, and poor pod setting, flower and pod setting will be less, but more will be the vegetative growth. So that's why it's better to don't change the sowing window. Better to follow or addict to that October 15th to November 15th. That is the right time of sowing of this chickpea. So coming to the fertilizers, chickpea, we don't have recommendation of potassium, application of potassium. Especially for most of the pulses, we don't recommend potassium because soil itself has got rich potash. So we recommend to go for only nitrogen and phosphorus. If you go for soil testing, if your field is what less in potash content, then you can go for application of potassium. So otherwise, not required. Especially we recommend only nitrogen phosphorus. So for rainfall it is 10 kg nitrogen and 25 kg phosphorus. For irrigated it is 25 kg and 50 kg of nitrogen condition. In zinc deficient soils, you can apply either soil application of 25 kg of zinc sulfate or foliar spray of 0.5% zinc sulfate. That can be can able to correct the zinc deficiency. Then biofertilizers, as I already said, so these biofertilizers play a very important role here, because since it is a pulse crop, we have biofertilizer strains, microbial strains for pulses, especially rhizobium, okay, and trichoderma. So this rhizobium, it is a nitrogen fixing biofertilizer. When you treat the seeds with this rhizobium biofertilizer, it can able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil, so that it can enhance yield from 20 to 30%. And even you can go for seed treatment with PSB. PSB means phosphate solubilizing bacteria at the rate of 1250 gram per hectare. So that means 500 gram per acre. So that's how you can provide nutrient to this crop. So we can use even liquid biofertilizer also. So the difference is in the solid or powder form of biofertilizer is you can store even up to 1 year. The validity will be for 1 year. If it is liquid biofertilizer, you can store up to 6 months, not more than that. So liquid biofertilizer is one thing, you can treat the seeds easily with this liquid biofertilizer, or else you can go for spraying. So that is the main advantage of using this liquid biofertilizer. You can't mix the powder form into water for spraying, no. So that is powder form is only for seed treatment or soil application, okay, even root dipping. But liquid biofertilizer is for spray. So you can spray for the crop when the crop is at 30 to 45 days. So that is the main advantage of using this liquid biofertilizer. So if you are growing under irrigated condition means, so you have to give at least, so that means at branching and pod formation stage. That is a very, very critical stage for irrigation. If you skip irrigation during these two stages, there is a huge loss. Okay. So other recommended stages for irrigation are, one is of course at sowing, second one is branching, that means at peak vegetative growth, and next is flowering, then pod filling. Okay. If the crop is if you observe any wilt disease during that time, it's better you avoid irrigation during that stage, because if you found any wilt symptoms, if you go for irrigation, the inoculum will spread all over the field. So entire field again will be affected by the wilt. So try to notice if there are any wilt incidents at peak vegetative growth stage, then you better you go for or plan the irrigation schedule. Coming to the weed control, of course, we have a number of herbicides for the control of weeds in chickpea. The first one is pendimethalin. So that is pendimethalin at the rate of 0.5 to 1 active ingredient per kg per hectare we use it. Or you can mix pendimethalin with imazapyr. So that take care of the water pre-emergent herbicide. This is called as a pre-emergent. That means when you take up the sowing of the crop, immediately within 3 days you have to spray it. Next is pre-plant incorporation of the flucloraline. That is also like pre-emergent only. That means before emergence of the crop, you can spray this. And for post-emergent, it is better you take up intercultivation operations. So that will take care of the weeds. Next, coming to the harvesting, I already said in North India it takes 160 to 170 days duration, but in South India it is 90 to 110 days. So the crop is harvested when the leaf turns to reddish brown or starts leaf shedding. And better you can harvest in the morning hours so that you can avoid shattering of the pods. So that is a major problem here. And of course, threshing you can do either manually or by using any machines you can use. And some of the cropping system, that means we can club. For example, if you grow rice in the kharif, you can grow chickpea in the winter. Similarly, if you grow cotton, next crop you can take up chickpea. Or chickpea can be intercropped with other some of the crops like mustard, linseed, sunflower, coriander. Okay, for South India. And if you follow all these practices, definitely you will get a good yield. That is 10 quintals per hectare under rain-fed condition, 20 to 25 quintals under irrigated condition. So coming to the storage, so you can store this crop, these seeds that you have to dry up to 8% of moisture level. Okay, then you can store. So before storing, if you treat the seeds with 2 grams of thiram, you can store it without affecting any storage pest. So you can store without affecting any germination up to 22 months under 5 to 7 degrees centigrade temperature and 65 to 70% of humidity. That chamber storage room, if you maintain about 5 to 7 degrees centigrade of temperature and 65 to 70 degree of humidity level, definitely you can store up to 22 months without affecting any germination. So collection of, I already mentioned in the first slide, it has malic acid and oxalic acid. That's why whenever you touch this plant or whenever you touch this pods, if you keep it in your tongue, you will feel some sour taste. That is because of this malic acid and oxalic acid. So how to collect these acids? That is one thing. So these acids or get dissolved on dew, especially since we are going in the winter season. So there is dew and fog. So these get dissolved in the morning. Before what you have to do, if you want to collect these acids, we have some method. I will tell you in the next slide. So this acid is used for some medicinal properties. Okay, how to collect this acid means we have to spread a clean muslin cloth. Okay, during night hours in the field. So these acids are soaked in the cloth, which are dissolved in the dew. Because in the night there will be dew, fog, and all. The acid will get dissolved. So that is those get soaked, okay, in the cloth. So now the cloth has been absorbed these acids. So what we have to do, we have to squeeze this cloth that we can collect that acid. Okay. After the collection is over, we have to concentrate that solution. That means we have to evaporate the liquid portion so it gets crystallized. So that crystallized is similar to taste of our vinegar, sour taste. Okay. So that crystal is used for many medicinal properties. It has many medicinal properties and it is used to cure many diseases also. Okay, from 1 hectare we can collect about 4 to 4.5 kg of acids. So that is the one part of collection of acids. So coming to some of the points I want to enlighten here, some of the agronomic practices, small changes we have to make. We have to adapt some technical points in order to increase the yield. One is before sowing of the seeds. Okay, we have to soak the seeds in 2% of the calcium chloride for 30 minutes. If you are not having calcium chloride, you can soak the seeds in 25% of the cow urine for 8 hours. Then you can dry under shade. So that is one thing, because this method improves drought tolerance. It improves the sturdy growth of the seedlings very well. Okay, and the healthy seedlings you will get, and uniform germination. So that's the advantage of doing all this. And if you found if your soil is deficient in some of the nutrients, then what you have to do, you can treat the nutrients, especially zinc sulfate, borax, ammonium molybdate, okay, using polymer. I think you know what is polymer. It is like a gums like substance, that's all. You can apply polymer, you can use all this micronutrient, you can treat. After that, you can treat with some biofertilizer. As I already mentioned, rhizobium is the best one. Even trichoderma also you can use. This trichoderma, it controls the wilt diseases. So many farmer doesn't do this what step, that is seed treatment with the trichoderma. That is a very important step. It is a very low cost technology also. Whenever you treat the chickpea seeds with trichoderma, definitely the incidence of wilt can be controlled in our field, because the disease comes from our field only, not from outside. The spores will be present in our field only. So in order to reduce that spores, we have to introduce trichoderma into our field. So the one way is you can go for CT. And at the time of flowering, you can go for spraying of 2% urea. So that improves the quality of the seeds also. And if you are unable to go for seed treatment with micronutrients, the next option is you can go for spraying of the micronutrients at flowering stage, at least twice. Okay, that is zinc sulfate, ferrous sulfate, borax, and ammonium molybdate. If you are not done seed treatment, the next option is you can go for spraying of these micronutrients, especially at the time of flowering. Once in 10 days, you can take up 2 sprays, so that reduce the multi-micronutrient deficiency in the crop. Next agronomic practice is nipping. Nipping means you are taking of the bud. So whenever you go for nipping, that is, if you taking that bud portion, you're removing that bud so that there will be good branching. Okay, you have to follow this nipping at 35 to 40 days after sowing, so that there will be good branching, good flowering and pod development. And the next step is you can go for spraying of 20 ppm of naphthalene acetic acid. So this naphthalic acetic acid is a growth promoter. When you spray at 35 days of sowing, it improves the crop growth and development. Or else you can spray trichonotol. So that also you can, trichonotol also can be used, or nitrobenzene also used. This also helps to increase the flower and pod numbers. So this is what I want to tell you, and I wanted to tell you, and one more I already stressed, trichoderma. So everywhere it is available in our India, even in Karnataka also. Kindly make use of that biofertilizer. That is very important. Most of the farmers are not knowing that trichoderma is very effective in controlling the wilt disease, especially in pulses. That's in chickpea also. Chickpea, even red gram also, we come across that wilt diseases. Because you have chemical, yes, of course, but you have to pour more chemical into your field to control. Even it will not control. Definitely, I will tell you. It adds to your cost, that's all. It will not recover the that. What you have to do before sowing only, you treat these seeds with the trichoderma. So definitely, when each year you are introducing the trichoderma spores into your field, So day by day, it reduces the wilt diseases incidence in our field. If you have noticed huge wilt incidence in your field, then it's better you go for soil application. So no need to buy your 1 quintal or 2 quintal of trichoderma. Instead of that, if you have FIM with you, that is farmyard manure, cow dung with you, or if you are having vermicompost with you, vermicompost manure with you, any organic manure, if it is with you, just you purchase some 5 to 10 kgs of trichoderma, you mix it with that organic manure, just sprinkle water, keep it under shade for 1 week. Once in 2 days, give some turning just to avoid development of the temperature within the that or any menu. So whenever you give turning, and if moisture is required, just sprinkle the moisture. That's all. So after 1 week, the entire that manure is converted into trichoderma spores only, because there is a lot of multiplication of this trichoderma. Then you can go for soil application of this trichoderma. So if you follow this method continuously for 2 to 3 days, your field completely free from the wilt diseases. That is very important. So thank you for agricultureinformation.com for providing me opportunity to share my views, some more aspects on this chickpea crop. So thank you everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Priya. It was an excellent and interesting presentation and talk. I now request the participants to ask their questions. If there are any, we'll also be posting the speaker's contact details in the chat window. Okay,
Yes.
participants, any questions, please? Any questions? Please ask. We'll give a few moments before the participants think of questions, or you can even contact the speaker whose details have been given in the chat window. Any future queries? Any questions? All right, no questions forthcoming. I think I must thank Dr. Priya on behalf of Agriculture Information for taking the time to speak with us with an interesting presentation. I now request the organizer of the meeting, Ms. Rajini Jain, to please close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lakshmipati. I'd like to thank the speaker, Dr. Priya, for taking the time to talk with us. I also like to thank all the participants for their time. The meeting will now be closed.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.